Well, hello and welcome to the SkyTour LiveStream for March 4th, 2019. Thank you guys for coming out to see this. I know that we started just a little bit later than we thought. I had a technical glitch, which I have fixed, and I have someone with me tonight who's going to co-host this whole stream with me, and it's, of course, Daryl Mason. Hey, Daryl, how are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm good. And you?
I am fine, thank you. And I want to thank you, Daryl, for coming on.
Sure.
I know that you join us on SkyTour Radio a lot, and you're absolutely wonderful on the show. I think that you're... Oh, come on now.
You're embarrassing me.
Well,
thank you. I'm always happy to be on and glad to be a part of it all. Hopefully Amanda joins us. I messaged her earlier. I'm sure everybody messaged her. We'll see.
Yeah, I did too. But, you know, if she doesn't show, then it's you and I all the way until we can figure out what to do. But we are looking at Alpha Leo here. This is the bright star in Leo. It's called Regulus. I'll take a 6-second photo of it just so you can see what it looks like with all the details. Dome cams are operational tonight. Dome ops operational. Hey there. Hi, guys. And there it is. There's Alpha Leo in its surrounding stars. We can actually see that a little better by just doing this and coming in here. Look at activate windows. That's funny. I prefer... let me see if I... There we go. So you can bring us in now. Okay, and I will now go into this. I'm going to change a little, do a little bit of the processing here to make this a little different. All right, here we go. So I'm going to just set that to there and that to there. Okay. So now we can see the details here in Alpha Leo region. You can see these stars. This is a beautiful area. And now the problem with the spring stars, and Daryl, you can tell me if you agree.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me if you agree. The problem with the spring stars is that they're really not too bright. There's not too many of them that seem very bright at all. I mean, we have a beautiful yellow star called Arcturus, which the other night when we talked about the spring sky, you later lamented that you forgot to mention Arcturus, but you know what?
I did, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Because we'll show where it is in the sky tonight, too. And the nice thing is we can take our views here and we can translate them over into the planetarium when we get to it. And what's the planetarium? Well, the planetarium is this over here. And this is actually the planetarium view that we're looking at right here. Now, here is... Let me just do... we can actually move this here. Just to do a little adjustment. There we go. And a little adjustment on the bottom, too. I want to fix this to make it a little bit more viewable. There we are. Very nice. So, if we zoom out here, you'll see that I have the constellation lines drawn. And you can see Leo the Lion right here. Okay, our center of the screen target is this red thing. It follows us wherever we go. And I can direct the telescope to go anywhere in that region if I want. This is an erroneously reported scope location. I'm working on that. Not a problem. But here's Leo. You can see, and if we were to bring in the mythology, you'd see the lion here. This is how the lion is supposed to be laid out in the sky, with this area here with Algeba and these other stars forming the lion's head and mane. But the other thing about Leo is very interesting, and that is that I can cough. No, that is that if we check out deep sky objects in Leo, I just brought them in, okay, you'll see that we have lots of these little red ellipses. What are those?
Those are galaxies.
Ooh, those are indeed. And we have a number of galaxies in Leo. Okay, we have NGC 20. I'm not going to name them all now, but we have NGC 2903. We have innumerable ones. We have a triplet that we're going to look at a little bit.
Yep, M65, M66, and I forget which NGC is the third one.
Yeah, that's these guys right here you're talking about, the triplet. It's the Hamburger galaxy that you're talking about, I believe.
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for Hamburger Galaxy today.
Correct. That's right. And that's actually NGC 3628. Okay, it's right here. And you actually see that the Leo Triplet, these two are fairly large. Okay, this particular galaxy is M66, and the one to its right is M65. And this particular galaxy, both of these galaxies are actually quite far away. And I know that if we consider that they're many millions of light years away, then you can imagine that we're looking at, here at these galaxies. Well, ours must look like that to them. So in their sky, to a civilization in this galaxy right here, okay, in M65 right here, in this galaxy right here, and the sky's moving. That's why it's doing this. We're not tracking the sky with the planetarium. The telescope is tracking the sky. But we look at this galaxy and we think if there's stars in here, again, probably several hundred billion stars perhaps in this galaxy, we know that somewhere around one of the stars in that galaxy, there's probably planets, probably intelligence like us, looking up and looking at the faint galaxy that's in the, well, I'm not sure what constellation we would appear to be in to them, because we don't even know their constellations. It's a very different thing. But we would actually be visible to them too as a faint little fuzzy spot in one of their telescopes as well. And that is just really, it's one of those mind-blowing things when you think about it, But let's check things out. Let's go check out some galaxies now. Daryl, you got anything that you'd like to see?
Oh, golly. I like the Leo Triplet, which you were just at.
Okay.
Others, well, you go ahead and do your show, man.
No, you're part of it today.
I'm happy with all of it.
I know you are.
Can you take a picture tonight?
Of course.
Show the people what it looks like?
Absolutely. Should we go let's see if we can get to the Leo Triplet. I'm hoping that the dome is over far enough to catch the Leo Triplet. I'm thinking we might be close, but let's check it out anyway, shall we?
Sure.
Let's go look and see what we can get there. So let's go and let's make sure we're moving. Here we are.
Is this different software, Mark? It looks different than your last stream, I think.
No, this is actually the same program that I've been using. I'm actually looking at.
There it is. I'm sorry.
Oh no, this is the.
All your control panels.
Yes, this is the view of that. Yep. Yeah, the typical controls we see are these.
Yes.
Okay. We have the dome ops for those who haven't joined us before, because I actually got a bunch of new subscribers tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's wonderful to have you with us. Hello, guys.
Cool beans. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome to all of you. But for what you want, for your information, we have the dome ops down here. This is me in the observatory warm area, which is my office. The observatory is that way, about 50 to 75 feet outside. This is the telescope control system. And then over here we have the camera controls. And here we have the dome cams. Dome cam 1 is in the observatory looking at the telescope from the side. Dome cam 2 is riding along with the telescope. All right, and I'm going to take a picture. We'll see what we can get here. I'm not sure that the dome might have to move. That's it. One thing left that I have to do. I have to automate the movement to the dome, but I'm working on that. It takes time. I've got to have these components come in, and then I'm actually going to do all that. This is all. I've automated all this stuff. That's the only thing left, and that would actually prevent me from having to go outside more than once to open up the dome. Well, and then twice to close it up. Other than that, I think it's great. So right now where we're sitting, we should be able to see the Leo Triplet, which is those galaxies that we just saw in this program over here, which is right here. So we're sitting right there, looking there, and we're going to see if we can see these two galaxies. So let us go and see what we got. It's always interesting to see if the telescope is behaving the same way I expect it to be behaving. But let's go. We're going to take a, let me see, I'd say maybe 15 seconds at 20,000 ISO. 20,000 is the speed, 15 seconds, of course, is the exposure time. And off we go into the wild black yonder. So SkyTour LiveStream has been operating for well over a year now, and we have quite a collection of greatest hits to show folks as we move forward. I've got a lot of photos that we took. Oh, look at that. Bam. There they are.
All right.
And let's go in here now and just check it out. That looks really pretty. There we are. And we want to go over a little bit more. So this is M66 and this is M65 right here. This little tiny guy right here is an imperfection on my telescope corrector plate. You know, and I will have to figure out what to do with that. I've tried to clean it a few times, and it doesn't react well to being cleaned sometimes. Anyway, let's while we got this here, let's do this. Let's do a close-up, and let's actually see if we can do some image processing right away. I like to do immediate image processing when I can to try and bring out any additional details here.
Well, that sucks about your optics, man. Golly, I've been cleaning optics for about 40 years now, and it was part of my job on lasers also, besides my own telescopes and stuff. And, oh, geez, that's like visual fingernails on the blackboard to me.
Yep, me too.
You know, yeah. You know, the best way to clean your optics is to keep them covered so you don't have to clean them.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah, this is one of a couple problems I have with these optics. I also have something called coma. If you look in the far right of the field over here, you'll see that one of the stars looks elongated. And down here, it's elongated toward the center as well. Like to here and to here. That's and there, and you can see that's what happens when you have a telescope that is fast optically and is a rich field telescope. And this particular telescope, that means that the telescope has a easier time gathering light to show you objects that are faint. All right, and while we're waiting to hear me say that, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to bring those galaxies more into the field. And to do that, I have to head east a little. All right. And maybe a little toward the top. Okay. Now we're going to do a 20-second photo. But I'm going to drop the ISO sensitivity to 16,000. So the picture won't change. It's going to look almost the same. Why is that? Well, because these are related in a one-to-one way. You go up in the exposure time, but down in the sensitivity, it's equal. All right. If I go up on this and up on that, well, then I get basically, if I go up by 1 here and up by 1 here, so from 16,000 to 20,000, okay, and from, say, 15 to 20, okay, then I've gone up what are called 2 stops. 1 stop is in the sensitivity, 1 stop is in the exposure. But we're going to do 16,000 for 20 seconds and see what we get. All right? So here we go. So now we're taking the photo. And it doesn't mean we can't go check out what we did before. I mean, we can certainly go look at what we did before. You know, there it is. And the new photo is going to be one that will have us looking at the objects a little bit better centered here. So as soon as this photo is done, it's done now, and here it comes. And there we go. And now our galaxies, you can see the noise reduction software is off and running. Look at this detail. This is really rich detail in this galaxy, don't you think? That's pretty nice, Daryl.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And
Mark, you you were talking about your telescope a minute ago. I'm sorry, I'm a telescope guy, so I have to ask. Your scope is an f6.25 native focal ratio, correct? When the Schmidt-Cassegrains are usually f10 native?
Yes. It's f6.3, basically, is what they say.
Okay.
But, you know.
Yeah, I know. Back when I had my Celestron, I had a 6.25 focal reducer on it, which I guess would simulate what yours is, and it did speed up exposure times a lot. Tended to vignette a little at the edges. I got some really pretty pictures of that thing, though.
Sure. Yeah, and I do think that the next scope I get, I'm going to do another photo like this because I noticed that there's just a little bit, if you look in here, there's actually a little bit of wander. All right, and when you zoom in here, you can see the stars are a little elongated. They need to be dots. So the elongation changes the detail we see here because that's also blurred and elongated. But let's see what we get because it'll be coming in here. So this is M66 and M65, okay? And now you'll notice, of course, now we're looking at a better photo. See, this here, the stars are more point-like, and we can actually see some detail in the spiral arms of this galaxy. Isn't that beautiful?
That's too cool.
Yeah, and this is all in the live. We're not doing this in any kind of recorded manner. This is actually all live, dynamically. You're looking at the sky live with me now. You know, now we can actually do more processing. Okay, we can actually change around a lot of the parameters here, and there's actually another element to image processing that we're going to do down the line, not tonight, and that is we are going to be able to do processing within Photoshop live, so that you'll actually be able to see exactly what things ought to really look like, and we'll do stacking too, and I'm going to show you all that. This is beautiful. This Galaxy M65 has this little tiny star right there. You see that? And that's a field star that I believe is in our own galaxy. But to be safe, I can go check it out and see if that's true by going over here and looking at this view here. And if we look at our triplet, well, actually, we gotta go back to our triplet here. And we can actually see in the other photo, okay, we can see that there is a star right there in this galaxy. This is the planetarium view. Okay, so there's a triplet. Now, what we're missing is the Hamburger galaxy, which is right there. So, shall we go see that?
We should call it the Blimpy Galaxy.
Oh, that's also true. We could call it the Blimpy Galaxy. And before we head there, I'm just going to do one bit of housekeeping here that I'd like to do, which I haven't done yet. 1 second. I'll be right with you. I'm working on something here. Just grab something here. Oops. And I knew I forgot something. I was right. I forgot something. I actually, a couple things. Hang on. I'll figure this out. I knew I forgot something. All right. All right. So here we go. Just a second, folks. I'll be right with you. Thank you for watching, and pardon me for just a moment. I gotta do a little bit of on the spot changes here. Can it work? Let me just do this. Actually, while you're waiting,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. While they're waiting, I'm gonna put up. While they're waiting for me, I'm gonna just put up this image so people can see it while I'm just doing something, a little housekeeping.
Okay.
So what are you gonna say?
Oh, I don't know if Ronald's out there or not. If he is, your talk a little while ago about the coma at the edge of the field.
Yes.
Ronald evidently just got a new telescope. It's a Celestron, the Edge HD 8-inch. I think he paid a pretty penny for it, and that's one thing his scope is designed to minimize is a coma at the edge of the field.
Okay.
So I hope he's very happy with it.
He may not even. I don't think he's fully apprised of everything his scope can do. So he's probably smiling at her, going, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know. So we'll help you along the way, I'm sure."
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to just change something here. Okay. There we are. Okay. And now that should be set. And off we go. So now I can get rid of that. I know I'm talking to myself, folks. Bear with me. It happens. All right. Oh. Yeah, let's do this. And now this. Oh, goody. I'm just doing some housekeeping I should have done earlier. So it is my fault. I apologize. Okay. Now, what I did actually was I brought the chat so that I can actually see it now while you're talking. Or while I'm talking, I can see the chat. And Daryl can see the chat. And if any of you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. I'd like to welcome Amol here, kind of Curious, Cosmic Lettuce is here, and of course Daryl. Dude W is here, James Dugan, Justin T. Maddie, Papa Tom, Quentist, and Tony the Night Owl. It's great to have you guys here. Those are the folks that are actually chatting a lot. If you haven't chatted a lot, you may not show up in the list. So, do it if you can. Anyway, Daryl and I are here checking out some things. We're checking out the galaxies in Leo. These are island universes of stars, all their own. And I'm telling you, they're millions of light years away, and they are probably by far the best galaxies of the night sky that are in Leo, because there's so many variations. Okay, this beautiful galaxy is not as tightly wound as this beautiful galaxy, but these are two of the three galaxies in the Leo Triplet that it's called, and we're going to check that out too. And let's go look for, I said we're going to look for the Hamburger, and I think I already have us on the Hamburger galaxy, which is the third one of the triplet, no?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's do 20 seconds at 16,000 here. Confirming where we're located, just make sure. Oh yeah, there is right here. We have to be careful because we're going to be on the Hamburger galaxy right there. That's where we're going to be. All right. So let's go and check it out, shall we? Off we go to the location, and we're going to make sure that we can check it out here. Let's do that, and now we take our photo. We're taking our photo now. NGC 2903 Cosmic, you want to see that? All right, we take requests, don't we? Daryl, we take requests, don't we?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
And that's a good one, too.
Mm-hmm. And do W, yeah. Get rid of hard drives and go to SSDs. You're absolutely right. Okay, what'd I do? Oh, I know what happened. I left the telescope in the same spot. I didn't actually move it to the right spot. Hey, that's what it's all about here, you know? Laughing at me when I screw up. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to move it now and get us there now, which is what we want to do. And go back here and let's see. There we are. So now we can see us moving. See the stars are moving there. Telescope controls, bring them up. Sometimes I don't wait for the telescope controls to be done. They'll when it's done moving, the lights, the north, south, east, and west come back. But if I know we're almost there, I just say, okay, stop trying to move. And I click that button, and I get my control back. And that's better. All right, so now let's do 20 seconds again at 16,000 ISO sensitivity and see what we get. We're looking for the Hamburger Galaxy. It's not going to be as big as the others. I did this a couple weeks ago, I remember. But Leo was in the murk at that time. It's a little bit in the murk now.
I remember seeing the Hamburger Galaxy with you and Amanda last year.
Okay.
Maybe about this time. It was Galaxy season.
Yep.
And spring is Galaxy season, people. You have a lot coming up to look forward to.
Oh, yes, you do.
Of the 1,000 brightest galaxies in the sky, 3/4 of them are in a band from up by Ursa Major all the way down to Virgo. And we're going to get to see a lot of pretty stuff down the road here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Leo and think there's a lot of galaxies there, well, go to Virgo, and you're going to find there's a lot more there.
Yeah, Virgo supercluster.
A lot of elliptical galaxies there too, which are more spherical and elliptical in nature, and it's really interesting how it could be that's the case. I don't know why. I don't know why there's more ellipticals in Virgo. I really don't. But it's how it is, and there's a theory as to why there are more. Why these ellipticals are even in existence, because it turns out that maybe elliptical galaxies are the result of spiral galaxies that have collided. And where do we get that from? Well, we get that from simulations. You know, I've done galactic simulations where we bring galaxies together, and they kind of get moshed together, and that's a problem. You know, because we don't know at what point galaxies will collide to form a conglomerate like that.
If they're elliptical, do they still have an axis of rotation? I mean, are the stars in, like M87, for example, in Virgo, it's a great big huge elliptical galaxy, and I'm sure those stars all have to be moving, but are they rotating about a common center?
Yeah, they're orbiting the galaxy. You know, it's kind of interesting to look at that. I mean, if you're looking at trying to study the proper motions, those are when you see stars moving in the sky. The study of stars moving is called proper motions. Proper motion study. This is the Hamburger Galaxy, by the way. You can see that really, really evident dark band, and that splits the top and bottom of the Hamburger Galaxy.
That's the patty.
That's right. That's the patty between the buns. That's why it's called the Hamburger Galaxy. Exactly so. And so it's really pretty, you know. And of course, this is our processed view. If we turn off the processing view, then it looks like this. So this is the raw view, and this is the processed view where I've actually, made it into a close-up as well. So we have all these things predefined here to make your viewing pleasure all the more instructional. All right. And again, this is our main view. This is the working view. This is the one that we start with. We have the telescope controls. We have dome ops here. We have the cams and the dome cams over here, camera controls over here, and of course the time and date. So let's go to our planetarium view, and we've just looked at the Hamburger Galaxy after looking at the Leo Triplet. Where would you like to go next, Daryl? Oh, we want to do 2903, don't we?
Yeah, Cosmic Lettuce, I think, requested 2903.
Okay, let's hope that we can actually see 2903.
What's that green thing in the hindquarters of Leo there?
Oh, that's the radiant of the Leonids. That's the radiant.
No, the radiant of the Leonids is inside the sickle.
Well, the Delta Leonids are here.
Oh, well, okay. Delta Leonids.
Oh, sorry.
The Leonids are up inside the circle there.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is NGC 2903, right? And it's an active galaxy, so this is going to be an interesting view. If I can see it without having to move. Oh, is Amanda here? Hey, Amanda's here. I see
Hi,
that.
Amanda.
Yeah. Daryl and I both tried to find you, Amanda. Okay, now let's just go here and check this out. Let's see. I want to steer us to this, so we're going to go there. All right, and right now you'll see the stars zipping through. And there they go. Ring. Amanda, did you want to join us? We might be okay with this. We'll have to try it out. Amanda will have to tell us if she wants to join us. Okay, I'm going to take this picture, 20 seconds at 16,000. Seems to be a good setting. And this is 2903 on the way. We're on the way. Papa Tom. Yes, she does.
Everything's better with Amanda.
That's right.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Technically, oh, you messaged me 45 minutes ago. Well, is time slower in Canada? I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're taking a picture, and okay, it wandered a little bit. We're gonna have to redo it. But look at that. Oh, that's a good start. Let's go back and take another picture of 2903.
Nice.
Yeah, so far, but we can do better. Oh, you know what? I know what I forgot. I've got to make sure the telescope isn't doing micro corrections. Now, it'll be fine, I would say. Nice. Okay. Now, let's see here. I wonder if there's a way here. This is the new Skype, Amanda, so I'm not sure how to add you to the call.
Last time, I think I left the stream, Amanda joined, and then Amanda brought me back in. That might be the easiest thing to do.
Maybe. Or maybe, I don't know if I can just call her directly. If that's going to knock you off. Well, let me try it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let me try this. I'll be right back then.
She'll fix it.
She will. Doom, doom, doom.
Hello.
And you're there.
Is Daryl?
No. I kind of feared that might happen, so
Hold on.
you can bring him in. I don't know why that happens.
Believe it or not, I was terrified of new Skype because everyone said what a mess it was, but yeah, I figured it out. I think Bill helps. Hi, Daryl.
Hi.
Yeah, there he is.
There we go.
Are we live now? Hello
We are
again,
live.
everybody.
Yeah, you're live.
Hi, Amanda.
I hope so. Live and all together.
Oh, yeah.
He's here.
Welcome.
Let's see.
Everything's better with Amanda.
Aw,
See
thank
that?
you.
He says that. He says that all the time, and you know,
I
I think he means it all the time too. Isn't that even more special?
It is.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming out and checking out the live stream tonight.
What?
Oh, I don't see Mark's screen anymore. So
Oh.
I can go watch through the.
No.
Oh,
Let me.
share your screen again, Mark.
I'm gonna do that because I was supposed to. Sorry, Daryl. Here we go. I'm sharing the screen, and so now Amanda and Daryl will be live with me, and then we won't have any trouble when we're talking about specific things. Daryl won't have to say I'm waiting for it to catch up or something like that. So, all right. So you should see it now, yeah.
Yes.
Give me just a second.
Okay. Ah, look at that.
Oh, and make sure you're on the new call too, Daryl.
Yeah, I have two different Skype windows open. I'm trying to figure out which one is which.
This is this is NGC 2903. Isn't that pretty?
It is pretty.
Gosh, that's beautiful. Daryl, do you see it?
I do, yes.
Isn't that something else?
I'm still looking through the.
Through YouTube. There should be
I'm still looking through the Utrine at the moment. I can't.
On Skype, on the left-hand side in the calls, there should be a new call
There it
started.
is.
Okay.
It just came up for me. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well,
Now I missed a little
Okay.
bit at the beginning. Did Daryl tell you? He's got me on a new mission, and I want to do it, and it's coming up soon. And guys in chat, please, please, please push Mark towards doing this. I think it would be
Messier Marathon.
so fun.
oh my God, what
The
have I done?
Messier
now?
Marathon, yes. Have
Well,
you guys heard about the Messier Marathon?
Oh,
I grew up with Messier Marathons.
I only heard about it for the first time last night, and I so want to do it now.
It's really a lot of fun.
what have I done?
Well, Daryl, what you've done is you probably give me an all-nighter coming up. That's for sure. And you know what?
can do
If
it.
I do it,
We
you're
can
gonna
all do
have
it.
to do it. You're doing it with me, Daryl. I don't care. I don't care what you
Oh
say.
yeah.
You're gonna be awake. You're gonna have to be chugging coffee or whatever. Me, I'm up all night anyway. Raymond B, how you doing? And Dave Schmidt, thanks for resting your eyes with us. I really appreciate that. We're looking at NGC 2903. Notice the way the galaxy looks. This galaxy is really, really beautiful. You can see the spiral arms quite nicely, and it's actually got a lot of detail in there. And I almost want to take a whole bunch of pictures and do a stacked shot. I really do, but I'm torn. But I know I really want to do that. I really, really want to do that. So let me just do a few, okay? Amanda, you can tell us how your nap all day went, because you're on this opposite schedule with the rest of us now.
I know. Well, no, I was up all day. I couldn't sleep. I tried to sleep. I was a good girl. I tried to sleep. What happened last night? We did SkyTour radio,
Yeah.
and then I did Sunday Night's Funnies. And then I think I worked on a few shows. Daryl, I was talking to Daryl about the Messier Marathon, and he got me all excited. And I tried to do that Google Earth thing you were telling us about on
Yeah.
SkyTour Radio. It was a disaster. I can't do it. You're gonna have to repeat the steps again for me.
Oh.
Because I found Google Earth, and you said zoom out so you can see the light side and the dark side at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Google
no,
Earth or
Google
Maps?
Google Maps.
I went to Google Maps,
Yeah, googlemaps.com.
and I zoomed out on the planet, and I could see other stars, like, I don't know, maybe one was Venus, I'm guessing. One was, I don't know what one was, but
Well, you had other planets and moons, and they don't give you
I
Jupiter
couldn't
and
click
Saturn.
on any of them.
What? Really?
I couldn't click on anything. I didn't see our moon. I just saw, like, a really bright, kind of yellowy orange star. And I figured maybe that was Venus. I don't know.
When you zoom out and you get that, and for the folks that don't know, we're talking about. And sorry, I'm going through taking some photos, guys, just so I can grab these for you later and make a nice stacked view. What she's talking about is on SkyTour Radio. We talked about how Google Maps can now show you all of the latest. Huh? Oh, okay. It can show you all the latest data from the NASA probes. And it's really beautiful and looks really nice. So Google Maps, yep. And
Okay.
the way you can actually do this is when you're in Google Maps, you zoom out from the Earth, but down in the lower left, there's that satellite square. You click satellite, and the Earth changes to a realistic-looking Earth. And then when you zoom out, you can zoom all the way out, mouse wheel or the minus sign. And when you get all the way out, the Earth changes to a light and dark, and the weather, by the way, the weather on the globe is identical and correct for the current moment.
Ooh.
You didn't know that?
Okay, I don't know what I was doing. I think I added ISS.
Oh.
Google Maps.
Okay, well.
Okay, but now something on the left popped up. First planet from the sun, second,
There you go.
third, International Space Station, Moon, Mars.
Right. And
Nice.
I was telling people that when you looked, if you look at all the moons, you can go to Europa, you can go to Enceladus, you can see Titan. You can also go to the ISS and take a tour, walk around inside, float around, and go check out all the different modules in the ISS. And I gave folks a little not a quiz, but a challenge yesterday. I said, in the ISS on this Google Maps setup, I want you to find the bottle of hot sauce.
And I'm already on it, folks. This is a race, and I'm winning.
Don't say where it is. If you find, don't say where it is. You can tell me. All right. There's a bottle of hot sauce that was brought up by one of the Dragon resupplies, and I want you to look for it. See if you can find it. All right, hot sauce. It's hilarious.
I can't move out of this room.
Actually, if you look very carefully, you'll see little arrows like on Google Earth, and you can move out of that room. You can. You're in the cupola when you start, I think, looking out at the Earth. And then
I am. Yes.
And then if you look around, you'll see arrows that allow you to move. There's also little round circles and dots that you can click on
to bring you to another node. Yes, I'm doing that.
To get information, but the arrows are like the street view where you actually navigate and go to the next spot, to the next spot, to the next spot. It takes a minute to see them, to get used to them.
This is all fascinating. I didn't know any of this before you mentioned it last night, Mark.
Well, I think it's a lot of fun. You'll lose a lot of hours studying Pluto and zipping through the International Space Station. And then, by the way, checking out the largest collection of volcanoes in the solar system on Venus. And as Daryl pointed out, the largest volcano in the solar system on Mars, which you can also go to. It's really, really nice. So again, Google Maps. Google Maps, not Google Earth. Google Earth does not have it. It's Google Maps online. And when you go there, and I'll be done taking pictures here in a little bit. When you go there, remember, you click the little satellite square down the lower left on Google Maps so that the map turns into the satellite view or the aerial view. Then you scroll out, or you use the minus key to pull all the way out. And when you get all the way out, then a new little list shows up on the left side, and it's all the places you can explore. Really cool. And when you actually click on any of those and you go into them, you might say, oh no, how do I get back? Because it doesn't look too easy. Well, that's a little lack on the part of the Google Maps team, I think. The way you can do it is there's a red box that shows where you are and what you're looking at. You just click the X and scroll out more if you haven't, and it'll come back. It's just a weird thing. It's one of those things you'll find anyway, but it's just it was a little bit of a nit that I had, but you know what? For the beauty of looking at this imagery, I like it. Okay, and on SkyTour Radio, on KGRA Radio, Amanda and I and Daryl talked about the fact that what you use this for is for looking at the cool imagery. What you don't use it for is trying to find something we haven't found yet. In other words, don't try to look for alien bases on the moon, because you'll find them. What? Yes, I said that, but it's not a real alien base. It's just a crater that might have a stitching artifact. That is, when they combine all these many, many thousands of photos together, undoubtedly they come up with a seam that can't be dealt with very easily, and it ends up making a problematic view. So that said, that's the kind of thing that we will often deal with Google Maps. All right, so it's not for doing, it's not for discovering holes in Antarctica. It's not for discovering Titans.
The drop-off point on the flat Earth.
You're right. It's right. It's not for that.
Okay, this is like the worst game ever.
Why? Because you can't.
I'm stuck in the first room.
That's, you know what? You just gotta. You gotta just look for those arrows. I mean, you gotta understand.
I
The
swear to
ISS
God, there are no arrows. I've
there
clicked
are.
on everything.
The-
By the way, the hot sauce is not in the first room.
Yeah, but that's correct. That's the only hint that I'll give, and that you shouldn't.
Amanda, the ISS is the size of a football field. You got a long way to go, girl.
Yeah, but I don't know how to click to the next room. I don't even know how this works. I figured there were little kind of like vacuum doors in between pieces.
Well, they can close hatches, but 9 times out of 10, here's what happens. On the ISS, you'll notice a lot of hoses running all over the place. Well, that's actually for ventilation, because you have to understand that as efficient as the ISS is at getting rid of excess heat from the solar heating up there, it's not the best. On the sunlit side, those habitat modules can actually get fairly warm, and they actually have to pipe in cooler air and exchange out that hot air. It's just one of those things that happens. In fact, when the capsules are docked, they run these big giant tubes down into the capsules, and that brings fresh air down into those capsules. That's cool, because otherwise they would bake. They're like ovens in the sun. Even though they have insulation on them, they get very warm. So it's pretty interesting.
I saw that on the when I watched the docking of the SpaceX capsule, and they opened the door between the ISS and the capsule.
Mm-hmm.
First thing they did was shoved a hose through the portal.
Yeah, and it wasn't to give air to Ripley. That was the mannequin. Okay, that was to allow the air to be temperature managed. Have the cooler air and mix, because it can be pretty warm in there. And of course, they probably didn't have, and it could have been heat that they were bringing in too. Because I don't know with Ripley, I don't know if they actually had climate controls operational. And so when Ripley got up there, it might very well have been excessively cold, depending on how much Ripley had been exposed to the shadow part of their trajectory. So it's a really interesting process, but you have to go through. Now, Amanda, I can tell by your silence that you're still trying to figure out how to navigate.
Well, I don't want to say what I did because I don't want to tip people off, but...
Did you find the arrows?
I didn't find an arrow, but I hit a random button, and it brought me to what looks like a mail room. I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe the supply room?
Well, okay, every room on
it has a whole bunch of mail bags in it, like mail packages,
actually,
and one said microscope. Yeah,
those are actually, storage and equipment storage. Everywhere on the ISS is storage. Everywhere. They have it wherever there's...
Yes, I'm seeing.
Okay, so you'll see storage everywhere.
And I think I found the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, the bathroom's kind of interesting.
Which is a very important find in a place like this.
It is, and I don't know if people understand, maybe, some folks listening and watching probably do, but on the ISS, there are a lot of things that you take for granted here that up there you really need to learn. I mean, if you go up there and you've really got to go bad when you dock, you're not going to be just going in and running to the bathroom real quick and, hey, I'll be right back. You have to learn how to use the toilet up there, because it has many steps, especially when in zero gravity. If you have to go to the bathroom, that stuff can go all over the place. There's no gravity to hold it down. Okay, so it's going to just float. It'll get on everything.
They don't use toilet paper either, do they?
No, they actually can't. They actually use vacuum. That is to say, devices that are vacuums. So if a guy has to go to the bathroom, they use a little vacuum cup cover, and they go, and then they have to actually take a shower. Here's how water works up there too. Here's the other thing too that's interesting. If you were to just say, take some water and squirt it out of a little squeeze bottle, like say a Dasani bottle, but it's a squeeze bottle, say, onto your hand. It's not going to just fly away. It's going to wrap around your hand like a glove. and it's going to do something that, well, it's basically going to adhere to a particular law of physics called the law of minimal surfaces. It's going to spread as much as it can to form the thinnest surface possible and remain cohesive. And that's what water does. So imagine taking a shower where the water does not want to come off your body. That's what you got. So you have to actually vacuum it off. So if you're going to wash your hair, you're going to be vacuuming the water off your body and out of your hair. There's no hair dryers because you can't blow stuff around. Okay, so you got a whole new world of understanding up there, and you're doing it in 0G, like, you know, when you're going over the top of a roller coaster, and you're coming down the slope of the roller coaster, as everybody yells. Yeah, that is how they feel all the time, 24/7. That's the feeling of falling, and basically, you're circling the Earth at a high enough speed so that the falling that you're doing doesn't result in you getting closer to the Earth. It just maintains that particular orbit you're in. And for the ISS at 250 plus miles up, that's 17,500 miles an hour. That's a football field-sized object with gossamer appendages of solar panels moving 17,500 miles an hour in the sky and going across. Now, I don't know if any of you saw it move across the sun. There was an astronomer, amateur astronomer, that actually took a photo of it passing in front of the sun. It transited the sun, we call it, where the going overhead in its orbit, it went by the sun, and you could see it go across the face of the sun. And here's how it went. It went whoop, and it was gone. It already had passed the sun that fast. It was like whoop. It happened so fast it could have been a bird flying through. But then when you stopped it and looked at it, it's like, hey, that was the ISS. That was the International Space Station. So it's amazing when these people who try to say, we can't go to space, there's a dome, you know, and rockets can't go up into space. They go up high and then they come back down. You see them coming back down all the time. Yeah, okay, that's from the lack of understanding of the physics and the nature of life on a spherical planet. You know, when a rocket goes up, and I'm in a mode here where this is, we're having trouble with the tracking, but it'll be right back in a minute. When a rocket goes up, it has to start heading horizontally because it has to reach orbital velocity. They don't just go up. They go up and they lean over and they start heading in a direction that makes their orbital velocity reach what they need to be in orbit. So to do that, they have to go more horizontal as they go up higher. And depending on your perspective, it can look like the rocket's going down. If it's heading away from you, well, then it's going to look like it's going down. Because if it goes horizontal, then it looks like it's heading down. And then if you've seen a jet flying through the sky, and it's heading away from you, technically, when you look at the jet, you know the jets fly horizontal when they're up high. But if you look at the jet, you'll see its nose is pointing down toward the horizon, essentially. And that can be mistaken for going down as well. You know, and that's what people see when they see, you know, an object traveling like a rocket going up into space. Except it's even more exaggerated, all right? So that said, I think it's a fascinating discussion to have, but I'll just leave it at that and let Amanda and Daryl say a few things while I continue to work here on these.
You talking about the ISS transiting the sun, people catch that now surprisingly often. I have never seen the ISS transit the sun. I have seen a 747 transit the sun with a solar filter on the front of my telescope. It's completely by accident.
Very cool.
That was pretty cool because you could tell it was the 747, you know, with the big bulbous front end on the thing. I did once see the ISS and the space shuttle transit the moon early one morning. I knew that there was going to be an ISS shuttle pass. If I remember correctly, the shuttle had just disconnected from the ISS, so they were very close together in the sky. And there was, this might have been a 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning moon up. over in the southeast before dawn.
Okay.
And, well, here came the ISS and here came the shuttle right behind it. I didn't know it was going to happen, but they passed directly over the face of the moon. One of the
Wow.
neater things I've ever seen. I wasn't expecting it, so I didn't have a camera or anything set up to catch it.
Oh.
And it was over in just a fraction of a second, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
got to see it.
I'm sure it was. You know, and it wouldn't be. You're right. It wouldn't take long at all. Not at all. Okay, we're done with that. 2903. That was a request, by the way. I think it was it Cosmic Daryl that asked us to look at 2903.
Yes, cosmic letters.
No, Cosmic.
Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to chat.
Oh, it's okay. You've been looking for that hot sauce.
I know, but
I thought it was a
I'm
bottle
going
of
around-
maple syrup.
No, hot sauce.
oh, that would be in the Canadarm.
Ah, good call.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna look at this Leo quartet. This is 4 galaxies in Leo. And,
Listen,
you know?
are there doors you can open in this?
No.
This is like the worst video game ever. It's really cool to look at all the stuff, but
It's not a.
I'm just walking around and I'm keep hitting dead ends.
Well, I think you have to just start exploring. Yeah. Okay. So here we are, and
I
I'm
found shoes on the ceiling.
yeah.
I don't know if that's where they sleep upside down.
I'm sorry.
I did.
Oh,
Have you
I
ever
believe-
toured this, Daryl?
But
No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of pictures of the inside. I'm not a bit surprised there's shoes on the ceiling.
actually,
Uh,
Amanda,
I've seen
but it-
pictures
define
of
the
them sleeping
ceiling.
upside down.
define
What
a
is
ceiling.
the ceiling anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maddie's right. There's no up or down in space. And the only reason we have an up or down and have a logical up or down is just to make it easier. Just to make it easier for us. That's all.
Well, okay, I thought it was the ceiling because I've seen pictures of astronauts sleeping upside down because it doesn't really matter in space.
Yes.
Well, okay, I don't know. To me, to them, it seemed like they were upside down. And these shoes, there was like a bar, which I'm calling on the ceiling. There was a bar on the ceiling, and it looked like if you were wearing shoes, you squished your toes underneath this bar.
Okay.
So all the shoes are kind of like pinned there, just at the tips of the feet. And then there was no one in the shoes, obviously, so it looks like they keep their shoes there for when they want to go to bed. I make up a lot of stuff in my head when I see pictures
Well,
that
that's
I don't
okay.
understand.
You're not necessarily incorrect, actually. Well, here's the Leo quartet. We have 1, 2, and 3 right here. And where's the 4th one? Oh, it's over here, right there. Look at that. So this is 4 galaxies that are right near each other in the sky. This is the brightest one of the bunch right here. Well, this one technically, but this one has a beautiful little dark lane that's passing right along this edge here. Very stunning. But that's the Leo quartet. So we're seeing 4 galaxies at once. And for those that want to know what that means, well, if we come back to our planetarium group, then a planetarium group. The Leo quartet consists of this galaxy right here, which is NGC 3193. This galaxy, which is NGC 3187. And this galaxy, which has the dark lane I was telling you about, that's a star. And there we are. This is 3190. And then down below we have this guy, which is 3185, NGC 3185. So we saw all 4 of these. Well, that one, and that one, that one, and this one. And it's really just beautiful. These are gorgeous. And we'll go back to them again, just to see them again. Let me just turn this to this here. Hold on one second as I get to my view mode again. There we go. So there. So now we can see them. We see this guy, and this guy, and that one. And there are 4 beautiful galaxies sitting there right here for all of you to see on SkyTour LiveStream. And again, I want to thank the new subscribers. I did an ABC show actually a couple weeks back, and then Doug Trumbull and I got together the next day, and we did more of it up there for this team from Boston, the ABC affiliate in Boston, and they put it on TV tonight at 7:30. It's available on their website too. It's like WCBV, as in WC Beta Victor. And there's Amanda with a non sequitur. I found it, she's going to say.
I found it.
There you go.
I found it, dude. I found a hidden compartment. I found it.
Wait.
Well, let me tell you. Hold on.
Did you find the hot sauce?
Okay, check Skype. I just sent a picture. Is that it?
Oh, let's go see.
That's it, isn't it?
It is. Well done. Okay, Amanda, calm down. Calm down.
What do I win?
Well, nothing, because you're the host of SkyTour Radio.
I worked hard on that.
I know. I told you could play. I didn't say you're going to win anything. You know what? You win. You win that Bill and I and Paul and Keith and Daryl even and Charles and Ronald are all anxious to have you come to Pine Bush. You win the fact that we have the undying appreciation of you and hope you will join us in Pine Bush. So you win our undying appreciation. Not doing
I
it, is
found
it?
the hot sauce, dude. I'm so happy.
She found the hot sauce. Yeah, it's cool. The hot sauce was there, and I thought that was really cool. And when I found it, I
thought it was gonna take days. I mean, challenges like this, I hate giving up on. Like, I would have literally spent hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
I can't believe I found it so quickly.
Well,
I found a hidden hatch.
Think about this.
That's my clue for you guys.
You actually you have to understand also that someone's eggs are done. What's that? You have to understand too that you're actually you're a gisher.
I am. I can't believe you remembered that term.
Oh, I do. And Gishwish is a very interesting. Look at these galaxies we're gonna go to.
Oh, today was the cutoff day to sign up for free, or not for free.
Sorry about that. No, it wasn't boiled eggs, but it was. Amanda knows what it was.
Water, wasn't it?
Yep. Humidity is so low here, especially when it gets really cold. The humidity just goes through the floor. That I have to often put a pot of boiling water on my stove to get the humidity back up inside my house.
Ah, okay.
So, I'm sorry, and the timers to.
Oh no need to apologize. It was fine. Okay, so this is M105 we're going to be looking at here. We're going to look at M105. We're going to look at NGC 3384 and NGC 3389. So let's check these out, shall we? And I think that we'll be able to just go there just by going like this. And now we're going to go there. I'm going to come back and see if we did go there. Did I already come here or not? I can't remember if I actually already went here. I'm not sure I did. Yeah, I didn't. Here we go. Okay, the stars are moving. Okay. Looking at the scope in the dome, I see that we're still okay up here. Nice. Very good, very good. All right, let's go and stop any micro motions from occurring. Good, we're all set there with our motion there, and now I'm going to take a picture, 20 seconds at 16,000 ISO of this triplet of galaxies. So Amanda, I'm proud of you finding the
Thank you. I'm a little proud of me too.
And by the way, just
That was so much fun.
I know, I figured you'd like it, and I will have another one for you, because there's other things that I noticed on the International Space Station. You already mentioned the shoes, and I actually, people could still look for the shoes, because the shoes are another thing that I was actually going to have you look for, you know, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to just let me get out of this for a minute. Drop, there we go. So now we see these three galaxies right there. All right, and to understand which ones are which, let's go back to our planetarium program for a second. All right, and now you can see that we're looking at them at pretty much the same orientation as here, I believe. And let's go back here and see, there they are. See, just like that. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Here we go. These are just beautiful galaxies. These are, well, I'm actually interested in this one here, primarily because it's actually got a very interesting set of colors associated with it. I'd like to see if we can grab those. That's really faint though, see? But we can try. Might have to do some processing here. Might have to do a little processing here just to see if we actually got that or not. No, not that I can tell. Oh, but you know what? I know how we can fix that. See, this is over here. I'm going to move it to the middle. Let's get it over to the middle. Now, to those watching, would you like to actually try to find other things in the ISS? If so, I will make sure that I have some for you. Because I know you'll have fun. Amanda's having fun with it.
I had a blast.
She's a gisher.
And I was looking at other things too. I mean, yes, my mission was to find the hot sauce, but first I had to figure out how to navigate, and that took me a long time.
Yes,
that's true. Then I kept going around in one little loop, and I got back to the cupola.
Yeah, the cupola, yeah, cupola. Yep.
It kept saying back to cup.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to go back to the cup. Although that was a brilliant place to start off.
It is. That's where they start you, and I think that's really cool. Absolutely. I want to say hi to Brandy Joe. Thank you for coming in. Justin T, welcome. Those are new folks that are here. Maddie, it's good to see you. I know that I didn't go through the total list here. Melanie Cravens, you're not in my participant list yet, but you will be if you participate a little bit more. That's fine. The other folks I mentioned already.
Night, Tom.
Yeah. Yes. That was Tom leaving.
He is. He's going to bed. He's the one that made me that beautiful UFO model.
Yes.
Tom Jensen of T-Toys.
That's Papa Tom. Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming, Tom. It's so good to have you here with us. And Dee Dee's here too. Dee Dee the sniper. You know, we don't have that big a problem here though. See, Dee Dee doesn't have to do a whole lot of work, I don't think, in our streams, because we don't.
Probably why she likes it. She can actually relax here.
Yeah. Thanks, DoW. Yeah. Nice. This is good. Okay, let me let's see if we can actually get a nice little view of this guy. Oh, that's a little better. See, we're trying to find some details in this galaxy here. You can see that there's some detail in there. Yeah, that's beautiful. This is. I'll just zoom in here because I want to show you something. This stuff you see, this modeling, this is noise that is part of the process. I'm taking this at an ISO that is a sensitivity of 20,000, and at sensitivities of 20,000 or even less, but or even more. Okay, if I crank this up, then unfortunately we're going to get a lot more noise, and I can show you that. I can say, okay, let's go to 40,000 and do 20 seconds the same way. Okay, we've just gone up several stops, that is, in photographic terms. And we'll see the galaxies again, but they're going to share the stage with noise. And so there's a trade-off with the amount of noise you get versus the detail in the galaxy you get. And if you stifle the noise, you try to reduce the noise, you often end up with other problems. Now I have a noise reduction algorithm in here that's actually whips through and gets rid of the noise as best it can, but you still see the noise in here. It's a little bit lighter because we have issues with that because we're using a much more high ISO. But now as we come in here, you'll see that the detail in the galaxy is really sharing the stage with the noise. And so we have to figure out the best way to blend those. We have to figure out how much noise we want versus detail in the galaxy. So I make it kind of look easy here. I just whip through and say, we'll take a exposure at this and this, this exposure at this ISO setting and sensitivity. But the best thing to do is, that comes from experience, knowing what to do. And it's kind of what I do. So I know that it seems a little odd, and I apologize for that I just kind of pick seemingly at random the values for these exposures and so forth, but that's what I do. Now,
Canacures wants to know if the noise is from light.
It's actually the noise is caused by a few things. First of all, in the sensor, the higher the sensitivity goes, the more the sensor has to work, and that work will generate noise. And the other problem is that when you have a higher sensitivity, a higher ISO, then you're asking each pixel in the sensor to effectively increase its ability to capture something. And when you do that, that generates noise. And when I say generate noise, what I mean, well, I could go down to the atomic level and talk about how light is acquired on the sensor. But in effect, it is the light and or lack of light that is causing more or less noise. But the noise is systemic. It's part of the entire. It's part of the entire mechanism. It's part of the whole process. It's built in. So that's like when you had films that had a higher sensitivity. They had some grain, and that grain is something that we didn't want to see, but it was there, and we had to deal with it. So same thing here. The noise is generated this way by this particular sensitivity that we select. So 40,000 is too high. I'll bring it back down to 16 for 20 seconds. And I'm also going to... Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, a question. Do you use dark frames when you process your images?
Well, I should be, but the problem is I'm not for a lot of the images. And the reason is because of the fact that, I have a lot of images I want to capture. And what he's talking about, folks, the dark frame is this. Technically, I should go out to the telescope, put the cover on it, and take about 3 times as many photos in the dark as the number of pictures that I took of the object, and then stack the object photos and the dark frames because they can help get rid of some of the noise. I process out the noise a little bit differently, so I tend to not use dark frames for SkyTour LiveStream, but I do use them when I'm doing personal work in the observatory where I am going to be capturing photos. So that's the only difference. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not much
I'm
of
going
an
to ask
answer.
a dumb question now, if I can.
You don't have any dumb questions.
I doubt it, but go.
Why not just take one dark frame and save it and use it on all your images?
Just dark frames.
Brilliant question.
Yeah, dark frames are dependent on temperature and exposure length and ISO.
Okay.
All
right.
The sensitivity, the exposure, and the temperature all change how much noise shows up. So let's say you take one frame, just one. Okay, why only one frame? Well, okay, one frame shows you the noise. The noise is digital noise. The next dark frame might show a different layout of noise than the previous dark frame. It's not the same noise every time. If it was, you're right. That would be easy. That would just take one dark frame. Okay, one dark frame. Instead, we have to take enough of them so that we can average out the noise because it's going to show up differently on a variety of scales and depending on exposure and other things. So we have to try and average it out, and that's what we're doing.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure. I wish that I could take one dark frame. Oh, man. I don't want to have more than one dark frame. But I do.
Well, that would make a lot more sense. You could just save the one, but yeah.
Well, think about it. Think about this. Okay. If you... and James, I'll mention something about the flats in a second. Flat frames.
For God's sakes.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. So if I take 20 pictures of a galaxy, technically, I should take 60 dark frames, at the least, to average out and get it better. And I don't have the ability to be patient enough to do that when I've got people watching and we're moving from object to object. So I think it's very important to give all of you watching satisfaction to see what we're looking at. And then you have flat frames. And what are flat frames? Well, if you take a photo with a camera, you'll notice that it doesn't seem to have the same brightness all across the frame. It might have, the corners might be a little darker. The center might be brighter. A flat frame is one where the flat frame is, the frame is evened out. Okay? So it's just as bright everywhere else, as it is in the center or vice versa, whatever. Well, I actually, hey there, Tana's here. I actually create a synthetic flat when I actually do the processing. So one of the first things I do is I take the image, like this image we're seeing right here. This image right here on the screen. Let's just get to this and look at it. Okay? So now you're looking at this image. Notice how the corners are darker? Okay? That's typical of telescopes like mine that actually are rich field, gather more light. All right? This center is sort of bright, and we want this all to be the same brightness. Well, I wrote something within Photoshop that allows me to do that. I have a little, we call it a macro, internal program, whatever. It's an action for those who know what Photoshop does. And I have a whole action set that I've created for astrophotography that I've worked on, which actually gives me all these wonderful things I can do. So my flat frame generator will take the imagery, take the data here. First thing it does is remove all the objects I photographed from the frame, leaving only the brightness variations. And then we apply a process that evens out the brightness variations, giving us a perfectly flat, even tone all the way across. And then we put the other things back. It doesn't hurt the data, it doesn't hurt anything. In fact, the data is not there to ruin. It's not even on the frame. and we just we use it later, and we bring the data back after. So that's a synthetic flat frame that we make, and I think that's, like I said, that's something that makes a big difference when you're taking a photo and then trying to say this was a panorama where I had this frame, another frame next to it, another frame next to it, up and down. Say it was a big extensive nebula. You need to have these flat frames, that is, the edge of the frame the same brightness as the edge of the next frame. Otherwise you're going to get this little modeling pattern at a frame by frame basis, where it's going to be lighter in the center, darker in the edges, darker in the edges, lighter in the center to the next one, and it'll go on, and you'll see that pattern. This way you actually get rid of the entire problem by inducing a flat frame. So I create it programmatically. I don't actually capture flat frames. Is it better? Not necessarily. It's probably better to actually, take a lot of pictures to generate some flat frames than to do it programmatically like this, All right, let's lower that music a little bit. That was a little bit loud. Anyway, so this is a little galaxy. This is an SB. Okay, what's an SB? Well, it's a little less tightly wound. It's a spiral, but it's a little less tightly wound than an SA. Okay, this is an SB galaxy. You can kind of see a hint of the spiral arms there. That's actually really pretty. But we're gonna go check out some others as well. And we're just hanging in one constellation tonight, which is kind of interesting. I don't mind that. I kind of like that. So let's back out of here, and let's go look. That was NGC 3412 that we're at. And now let's go. Did we do these guys? Yes, we did this. M106 and so forth. Okay, so now let's see. We have NGC 3377. This is a galaxy that's an elliptical galaxy, and I think it's kind of interesting just to look at what an elliptical galaxy looks like. We've talked about them. Let's check them out. So here we go. We're going off to an elliptical galaxy. And let's make sure that we are moving. Yes, we are. Indeed. Okay, and yeah. Cosmic, yeah, nice stellar nucleus with that pretty galaxy. I agree with y'all. Indeed. Yep. Okay, so now let's go and make sure that our telescope is in the stopped position. There we are. One thing I want to do too here, let me just check out here. I'm just gonna do I can't because it's not available. Sorry. I have a spectral system out there. I was gonna do the spectrum of some of these brighter stars to show you how that works, but apparently the battery that's in there is not working, and the telescope is disconnected. The program is disconnected from the camera that I have out there. I have several cameras in operation, and I'm going to be taking the cameras and making them all have power packs. That is to say, power wired in, hardwired. That's another part of this process I have to do. 20 seconds, 16,000 on NGC 3377, and back we go, and off we go. Right, and this is an elliptical galaxy, remember, so it's gonna not look like it has spiral arms. Sorry, just giving my voice a rest.
So,
yes.
When are we going to do the Messier Marathon?
Oh.
We have 2 chances in March.
Well,
I
coming
think
up in just a few days.
Exactly. That's the one I think we should aim for. Because then if we can't pull it off that night, we have a second chance.
Well, if you read that thing I sent you last night, it said maybe the better opportunity for mid-northern latitudes in North America, or mid-northern latitudes anywhere, I guess, is better. Like, I think it was the night of March 30th.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do it.
I think we should try.
Bring a great big pot of coffee with you, or French vanilla, as the case may be.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, the way Daryl was explaining it, it's a bit of a feather in the cap for an astronomer to be able to pull it off.
It is.
What it is going through all 110 Messier objects in one night.
Well,
And we have 2 chances in March to actually pull it off. One's in a few days and one's the 30th, which sounds like is a better chance, but it's just, what if we wait and it's cloudy or something happens?
yes. You're trying to get me to stay up all night, is what you're saying.
I'm trying to...
Get me to stay up all
I don't
night.
know. I think
she's trying to put a feather in your cap, Mark.
I think that
I
would
don't-
be an awesome stream to catch all of the Messier objects in one stream.
Oh, boy.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It is a
seriously.
marathon. I mean, it's from sunset till sunrise, basically.
Yes, and if you can see all the Messier objects, that would be a feather in your cap.
That would be... I don't know. I think it would be pretty great.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I think I've said that before. Can we see them all? Like, all in the night sky at one time? And apparently, yes, we can. And...
Yeah, and it's this time of year is the only time of year you can do it.
come on. This, like, fell in our lap. We gotta at least make an attempt.
No parlez-vous français, señorita.
I think I've created a monster, Mark.
I know you have. That's okay. I mean, I like that. I like that she's enthusiastic about it. But I can tell you this: she's up all night and then sleeps all day. Well, I'm up during the day to work. You know, here in my shop. And when it's time to go to bed, I have to go to bed. Otherwise, I will again be up all day the following day. So I would have to make a concerted effort to actually pull that off, make this work.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. From
Yeah.
sunset to sunrise, yeah, it's gonna be a hell of an effort, but
A hell of a long night too.
think of the coup. How many people, like, in one sitting? You know, I'm sure there's been videos where you catch a few a night, whatever, then they compile a big playlist.
Everybody at star parties does this.
Alright.
I mean, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You know, but you know,
I think we're both going to be metaphorically sleeping on the couch, Mark.
more than metaphorically. Yeah, but still, yeah, you're right. Okay, let me get us going here.
You're not mad at me, are you, Amanda?
No, I'm not mad at you, actually. Amanda won't be mad at you. Are you kidding me? She's totally enthralled.
I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Well,
But what do I know?
it is. No, it's wonderful.
I don't know. You're the astronomer that says, oh, we're going to cut the shows at 2 hours, and then 4.5 hours later, oh, just one more image.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
know.
while we're here, we could just go over it this way.
I know.
and-
Yep.
I don't know. I thought you would be more excited about it.
Well,
not
I've done it before.
making excuses.
I've done
Have
it
you?
many times before. Yeah. Yeah. And it's here's the problem. Okay, when you start doing the marathon like that, you have got to stay up through the spot where nothing is in the sky that you haven't seen already. You've got to wait, and you're anxious to view it, and you're trying to get to where it is in the sky. And then when you finally can see it, you're actually in the murk, and you can't really tell what it is yet, and it doesn't look all that good. And that's kind of what that is. So, but I get it.
Well, the big waiting parts in between, that's when you go and grab something to eat, go to the bathroom, reposition the dome.
Well, repositioning a dome
I'm sure we
takes
could
no
find
time.
lots of stories and stuff of interest to fill the
Sure,
time.
I'm
and
sure. I'm sure. No doubt.
I would try to pull my weight. I would find stories and stuff to read, different.
Sure. Yep.
Maybe we could have guest callers on.
Yeah.
Maybe ask you questions, or
Yep.
we couldn't have requests on views because we would already have our viewing list set, obviously.
Yes, that's for sure. Cam, this is a request for Cosmic Lettuce, NGC 3521. And I think we should be okay.
Tana wants to know if you've seen the time-lapse video showing all the new objects in our sky.
Time-lapse, I haven't seen it. I have not. Obviously, she did.
Sounds like.
Where can I find it, Tana?
Pardon?
I'm saying to Tana, where can I find it? Let me know. Okay, NGC 3521. We're going to look at it now. 20 seconds at 16,000 ISO. Cosmic Lettuce. All right. Tucson, Arizona-based friend to SkyTour LiveStream. Hey, Cosmic, I got a question for you. How would you like to work with me on the observatory once I move it out there? Let me know. Oh, that's pretty, yeah. Look at that. That's really pretty. All right, so now we have that. That's actually nice. There's a beautiful dark lane in there. You want to see it? All right, there we go. It's a little better. That's very nice. Ooh, yeah. So this is the galaxy now that we're talking about. This is NGC 3521. It's actually what's called a SAB galaxy. Interesting galaxy. It's an active galaxy. A lot going on in there. I think that the galaxy itself is absolutely incredible. I mean, it is 53 million light years away. So it's really impressive, you know. Impressive, most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet. Remember that? Yeah, okay. Apparently not.
Oh, I remember that.
I
Okay.
remember that.
So there it is. That's 3521. Really pretty. And I know that. Let's try something here. And now, you see all the noise in there? If I want to take a picture of this galaxy without that noise, what would I do? Well, what I would do is I would come over here and I would say, well, I need to cut the noise down. All right, so I'd have to go down to, say, less than even 10,000 and then try, say, 30 seconds. Right, and then take that picture. So let's try that. I'm getting to the point, guys, where not tonight, but I mean, I'm getting to the point with the observatory where I have to consider doing an alignment again. When I have the scope set up, basically it's on a big pier. The pier weighs like 150 pounds. The telescope weighs about 150 pounds. It's sitting up there in the air above on the pier. But things happen over time, you know. It's on a large concrete pillar that I have sunk into the ground, isolated. And so what we notice is that the telescope over time will move a little bit. And that movement is something that will mean that the things we tell it to look at might not show up exactly where they are. Oh, Cosmic, you can help, I'm sure. I got some really cool thoughts. I actually, I'm writing a Arduino program. This is Cosmic. I'm talking to him about the telescope in Arizona. I'm writing an Arduino program for an Uno, Arduino Uno microprocessor, and I wanted to just keep the shutter aligned with the telescope azimuth. So I have to figure out how to get the data from the telescope, probably through ASCOM, ASCOM. To those listening, it's a protocol, a communication protocol that was designed, and I'm using what's called the POTH hub, POTH, and that means that I can have multiple connections from the same computer to the telescope. So I have a connection through this ASCOM interface, for instance, to focus the telescope. I have an ASCOM connection to move the telescope. All right, and I have an ASCOM connection through the planetarium program to also move the telescope. I can move the telescope with the north, south, east, and west. Wow,
thank you, Maddie. Holy cow.
Maddie, what the heck?
Very
That's
generous.
Fantastic. What a wonderful... Thank you, man. And Maddie is, I got to say, Maddie has been a fan, been following us for a while. And, you leave me speechless, Maddie. Thank you so much, man. This is really good. Very, very, very good person, and not because they donate or whatever. That's not it. They ask good questions. They are here to support us. I've actually talked about Maddie before on other streams when Maddie has not been here and not been in the stream. I've talked about Maddie, and the way that we get support from people like that. What it tells me is that what we're doing works. People hear what we're doing. They like what we do, and they actually enjoy it. They ask good questions. They get good answers. But thank you very much. And
hey, they come for the astronomy and they get hot sauce and no toilet paper.
That's right. Very good, Daryl. Very, very good. Just 1 second. I've got to change my lights back to condition red. Here we go. I have Wi-Fi lights, so I had to tell them to do that because the lights change color at a certain time. At 12:20, they change to soft white to let me know what the time is. Because that's exactly what I need. I need these external stimuli to tell me what time is what, because otherwise I'll forget to eat. I'll forget to go to bed. You know how it is. I'm going to stream for 2 hours. We'll look at the time. We're moving on to 12:30. When did I start?
10:37 maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, and I told you what, we'd probably stream for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, but you know how that goes, as Amanda says.
That's the whole point. You're right. Hey,
Amanda, are you mad at me yet?
I'm not mad at you.
Oh.
Wait, are you actually mad at me?
I don't have to sleep on the couch tonight.
You mad at me because I'm not committing to a Messier Marathon?
No, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Well, I think...
I thought it was going to be brilliant. I thought you would be totally down for it. I thought, chat would be overwhelmed. I don't know. I thought it was a great idea and didn't expect resistance. So, yeah, I'm a little sad. But you know what? I found the hot sauce, so I don't really care.
That's funny. Well, you know what?
It was like a maze in there, and I couldn't even get out of the first room, and it was like a really frustrating video game, but...
Hey, just think if they did a Slenderman game out of the ISS. Now, that would be cool. Of course, there's only so many places you can go.
No, it was like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I knew something was around the corner, but I was stuck in one spot.
Right. Yep.
I will stream that one night. I gotta stream that one night.
And up there, that's basically up there, it's probably going to be a Russian with a drill. Okay?
Ooh.
And where does that come from? Amanda?
What's that? A Russian with a drill?
Yeah, where does that come from? Why did I say that?
because there was a hole found
Yes, there was.
in the ISS, and people at first thought, didn't they first think the Americans did it because one of their astronauts was sick or there's an emergency back on Earth, which is really weird to say,
Yeah.
and they needed to get home quickly.
Yes.
But then they blamed the Russians, and then I think unofficially, I don't know, they think someone that was making the pieces to go up there in the first place may have accidentally, or maybe intentionally, but I think they were saying it was an accident. They want it to look good.
Yep.
Accidentally drilled a small hole in one of the pieces and didn't cause a problem until it was up there for a while.
That's
The
right.
leak. How terrifying, eh?
Well, you see,
Maybe the bubble gum fell off.
yeah, right. Well, see, here's the thing. It actually wasn't in the ISS itself. It was actually in one of the Soyuz spacecraft. So there was a unit attached to one of the inner walls, and in order to put the unit in, they had to drill a hole to then screw the thing in. And there's all kinds of measures to do that properly. I mean, I'm making that sound much simpler than it is. And then, unfortunately, what happened, at least as far as we can tell, as far as anyone can tell, is that the person on the ground, before the Soyuz even went up to space, astronauts were in it and took it to space. Right? So they were losing pressure anyway on the way up and didn't realize it. And astronauts have died under less stringent conditions. I mean, but so the thing is, that hole started leaking slowly. And so, remember I told you about the hoses that they put down, the tubes, the big giant tubes they put down into the Soyuz to keep it cool and to keep it flooded with fresh air. Whenever they dock, they open up the hatches and boom, they put these hoses through, just like Daryl told you earlier. Well, they do that, and they did that with this. And the problem is, it was actually leaking, and thus the pressure was exiting the ISS, and no one could figure out why. No one could figure out where it was going. That was pretty bad, So they ended up having to do another look through, and they found it. They found the fact that someone had in fact drilled a hole, and they found the hole. It wasn't pretty, but they managed to patch it up. Now I just want to show you guys something. Now we're actually over here, okay, and we're in here crackling. Daryl, is that you crackling away over there?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Oh, but he hit mute really fast when he realized what he was doing.
That's okay.
He's improving.
I know he is. On the radio show, he's fine. This constellation Virgo here, and when Daryl was talking earlier, he was telling you about the galaxies that are in Virgo, and this is Leo the lion here, okay? And Leo we see from, sorry, let me get up here again. Leo we see from our mythological view, okay? And right next to Leo is Virgo, right here. And Virgo is a beautiful constellation that is dominated by this very bright star called Spica. And Spica,
hey, baby.
Yeah, that's it. It sits out there. It's beautiful, right? And if we look at Spica, okay, and we move up from Spica, just go like toward the pole, toward the north, okay? And you say, well, wait, where's that? And you can say, well, we can see that the pole is, and the zenith is up toward this. So if we just go straight up from Spica, okay, then we'll see that this location here is where this huge number of galaxies is, right here. All right, and I'm not sure if the dome, the dome hasn't been moving, so Spica's wandering into position, and maybe we'll see something here. What I'd like to do is take a photo that shows you lots of galaxies in one view, and I think this might be it. What do you think, Daryl?
Looks good to me.
Yeah, so we're going to try that. So
that's the Virgo supercluster. And our entire local group of galaxies is flying in that direction.
yeah, it's like we want to be part of the fun.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
And this might be more directed at Daryl because he humors me with the mythology. Mark,
Sure.
I know
No, go ahead.
you're not too big on it. I actually had a question from last night too. I'll ask that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, you guys know the expression, and it was a theme on Music with the Theme last week. Merch comes in like a lion, out like a lamb.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yes.
that's because Leo is kind of like a springtime constellation? Because you were saying, it's spring when you get to start seeing Leo in the sky.
That's quite possible. That's a very astute question, Amanda. I would not be at all surprised.
Is there a lamb constellation?
I don't think so.
No, there's a ram, Aries.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. Yeah. Wow. Ooh, wow. Ooh, wow.
Oh,
I was thinking about that.
cool.
And when you guys were talking last night on SkyTour Radio, we were talking about different volcanoes on different planets and stuff.
Yes.
And you said the one on, was it Mars? Olympus Mons?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the largest
Do you
one.
think that was named after Mount Olympus being the highest mountain?
Absolutely, it
Yeah.
was.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering that last night, but I didn't want to digress the show too much.
Well, if you look at Mars on the Google Maps thing Mark talked about, I'm sure you'll find Olympus Mons. There are 3 other huge volcanoes on Mars that are in kind of a slanted line across the face of the planet, fairly close together. I forget their names at the moment. If you look at Olympus Mons on that Mars image, or any Mars image that shows it well, that thing is like bigger than the state of Texas or the country France, I believe.
Yeah, it's actually.
I mean, it's friggin' huge.
Yeah, it's taller than Everest. So that's pretty big, Yeah, this is our galaxy views now. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, look at we've got over here. We've got let's see, we have one here. We actually have one here, which is faint. We have one here. We have one there. We have one there. We have one here. This is the one that's dominating the view. And that's just beautiful. There's a lot of galaxies in this view. A lot of galaxies in this view. What a tremendous view this is. So if I go to our planetarium again, we're looking now at this area. That galaxy we were looking at, I needed to... Was it the Silver Streak, you think?
Silver Wish. The one did, yeah, the brightest one.
Was that the
Looked
Silver
like
Streak?
a Silver Streak to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the Silver Streak we were looking at, probably. But man, I'm glad that we actually are catching these galaxies without having me go out and move the dome. But that's okay. Let's take a look.
Mark, can we pan out for just a second so you can see Spica?
Yeah.
And can you turn on the mythology?
Yeah, I can. So if we come down there, Spica down here.
Yeah. No, that's her left hip. Okay. And she, as you can see in the image there, she's holding an ear of wheat in her left hand. And Spica means ear of wheat, ear of grain. And that's what she's all about.
See that? Amanda, isn't that what you want to hear?
If you see the little red galaxy immediately to the west of Spica, that is Sombrero.
Is this the Sombrero here?
It is.
Let me get down here. No, it's over here.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, it was still just to the west of Spica still.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're going to check out the Sombrero in a minute.
Cool.
Yeah, and I want to just...
Tana wants to know where Pollux is. Pollux is in Gemini with Castor.
Yes.
Very good. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And Gemini is not visible, unfortunately, right now. See, now that, if we're doing a Messier Marathon, M35 is in Gemini. Okay, and we wouldn't be able to see M35 for like the rest of the night until very near dawn, I would suspect, right? Because Gemini is going to be well, I don't see. We'd have to see them. We'd have to see these earlier in the evening first. That's how we'd have to do those. Because once they're gone, we're not gonna be able to stay up to see them. I wouldn't think. You know what I mean? You do, I hope. Okay.
Whoops, I'm sorry. I was on mute again.
That's okay.
Yeah, when you do a Messier Marathon, you start at sunset over in the west, and you work your way east across the sky over the course of the evening and after midnight to morning, trying to move from west to east at all times to pick up the new objects.
Yeah.
And there's usually a list, you kind of follow that list, or at least broadly, so you can be checking them off before you have to move on.
Yep. Let me just do this.
Tana wants to know when Vega is in view.
Vega will
It's
be.
time to see that.
Vega,
Can I answer that?
You may. Go ahead, sure.
Tana, if you get up before sunrise, I talked about this on KGRA last night. We're seeing the stars of spring in the eastern half of the sky now. And if you stay up all night or get up early enough in the morning, well, the stars of summer are in the eastern sky. And Vega is well up in the northeast, I guess you'd say,
Yes.
before sunrise, along with Altair and Deneb, which comprise the summer triangle.
Isn't Vega always visible, though? Because I thought that was one of the stars you used to align.
No, Vega
collimate or whatever.
Well, once in the distant past, Vega was actually what would be called the North Star, because of the precession, the way the Earth spins like a top. Its North Pole points. If you put an axis through the Earth from south to north, and you had a line that went right through, like an arrow, it would point to different stars as it spun like a top. Currently, Polaris is near that location that's near the center of that rotation of the Earth, but not quite fully. And we also have, in also past years, one of the stars in Draco was the North Star, called Thuban, Thuban. And so when we look at these, we see that we look at the stars and we say, well, that precession, okay, is that spinning top. Again, the Earth is not quite spinning perfectly on its axis. It's wobbling every 26,000 years. That's how long it takes to complete that cycle. All right? It's a big planet, so it takes time to wobble on its axis. But each time it does that, as it's wobbling, it brings a different star into the position of being the North Star. And sometimes there's not a good one. There's a time when Deneb itself was actually close to the North Pole. Vega was closer. Thuban was closer. Polaris is really close right now to our North Pole. So we have it easy, which is kind of really fascinating to me. Kind of have it easy.
The size of that circle is 47 degrees, too. That's the circle that the ecliptic pole lies on.
Yep.
That 47 degrees, well, if you divide that by 2, is 23.5 degrees, which is the Earth's tilt on its axis.
It's a very important number, yeah.
And the Earth precessing on its axis, well, swinging around that 23.5 degrees makes that circle 47 degrees.
Yeah.
And it takes 26,000 years to make that circle.
Yep, that's right. I want to say hi to Laura Newbert. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hi, Laura.
This is the Sombrero Galaxy. All right?
Cool.
And we see it now with little image processing. I can actually give us a little bit of a better little better work, a little better look at it here for a second. Hang on. I can do this. So first things first. Ooh, and I want to get rid of this. Yeah, okay, well, yeah. So there you can see that, and the sombrero is interesting because this very, very distinct dark line is dividing the top from the bottom. Obviously, which gives it the name sombrero. All right. Now, this is slightly processed. Okay, if we take off the image processing, it looks like this. All right. And with image processing, it looks like that. So you see how we can kind of process it a little bit along the way here. Sombrero is a beautiful galaxy. It's somewhat small. I mean, if you think about it, that's how big it is in the field of view, right? Whereas the Andromeda Galaxy would take up this entire view, but the Andromeda Galaxy is only 2 million light years away. I say only, isn't that funny? Okay. And, you know, this one here is actually 29 million light years away. So it's quite distant, you know, quite distant indeed. All right, but the Sombrero is a beautiful galaxy.
Looks cool on the eyepiece too.
Yeah,
you can see the dark lane and everything through the eyepiece.
Yeah, the bright galaxy here does silhouette that dark lane very nicely. And Daryl, you'll notice this right here is 2 spots right there on my thing, and there's actually a little stain there. So it's a matter of cleaning the glass again. The corrector plate, which is the glass over the end of the telescope, has to get cleaned again.
So is that just dirt, or is that a marring of the surface, or the coating, or what?
It's actually probably remnants from the solution that I used.
Oh.
You know, I did I bought to clean the glass on a telescope. You guys, it's really it's got to be done methodically and carefully. You can't do anything that induces static electricity on the surface, because then as soon as you clean it, dust will race in and adhere. So you have to use solutions that won't promote that, and it's not easy to do it without getting static electricity to, you know, coat it with all kinds of crap. But I bought these gauze pads, actually about 300 of them, and to clean the end plate around my telescope, I probably went through 30 of them. You know, because you just do one wipe and then you throw it away. Because if you wipe again with grit, well, guess what? You're going to put a scratch possibly, because that grit will cause problems, and that's never a good idea.
Can I say, I said earlier, I've been cleaning optics for nearly 40 years. Cleaning optics on lasers was an important part of my last job. Yep. I did it for about 8 years. I was in charge of 14 or 16 lasers, Nd:YAGs and CO2 engraving lasers. And after 40 years, my heart is still in my mouth whenever I have to clean any sort of optic. And when you scratch a laser optic, or when you scratch a lens on a telescope or a corrector plate, oh my God. I mean, that's peeing your pants time, and a lot of people just don't get that. One brand of laser I worked on, that thing had 7 optics in the optical train. And it was over these lenses, you know, they're like less than 1 inch in diameter.
Yeah.
And the total cost to replace those optics was well over $2,000. And people just don't get it, and they abuse those machines something awful. And I'm the one that had to deal with it.
Hold on, there's some buffering coming in, guys.
Okay.
Can you check your stream service?
Yeah, I'm totally green.
Okay. I have it on my end, and so does Tony.
I'm at 3,500 kilobits per second, which is exactly what I asked for.
Okay.
Only using 25% of the CPU. Again, I'm hardwired now with my Wi-Fi, so I would not expect that buffering will end up coming from me anymore.
See, no, I was watching on your screen,
Down
so
here.
I just, yeah, a few other people are getting it too. James, try refreshing maybe.
I refreshed my YouTube screen. It came back.
Were you buffering too?
Yes, I was until I
Okay.
refreshed.
Okay, yeah, mine too.
Very interesting.
Refresh. No, refresh. Worked on me too.
Did it work?
Okay. They worked on me, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It seems to be working for everyone. Okay.
Okie-doke.
All good. And I
Alrighty.
typed refresh in chat so people actually knew.
All right.
So they wouldn't hear it if they were buffering.
Good.
Okay. And please do let me know, guys, in chat. I'm watching live so I don't screw up the timing here with the lag. But yeah. Okay, everyone's good now. If it happens again, let me know, please. I'm watching chat now. I found the hot sauce. I'm back on chat.
Very good.
I felt bad. I did leave chat for about 20 minutes in search.
That's okay. I gave you the challenge. You don't shrink from those challenges.
No, I don't.
Remember what Colette said, Amanda?
Colette?
Yeah. You
Who's
will do
Colette?
foolish things, but do them with enthusiasm.
Ah.
That's
You know
funny.
that.
I do
told
that
you.
every year with Gishwish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Coming
interesting.
up soon. If anyone wants to participate, let me know. Gishwish this summer. I don't know when
Catch-
it is.
Catch a satellite, Mark?
I did right there.
Ooh.
And it's a little bit of a trailed image too, but it's also a satellite. And actually, you know what? While we're there, I bet you I can catch it again right now, just by quickly doing this and getting it, doing another photo. Let me see if I can catch it again. It should be farther to the left though, so I may have to move over. It's fun catching satellites. I'm actually going to, one thing at a time, I'm actually working on the, yeah, there it is, farther to the left, over there. I will show you. I'm working on the mechanism by which to rotate the dome, but there it is. But I'm also trying to figure out a way, and I know a way, to use this wonderful tracking software that another guy has created so I can track satellites directly, like the ISS, and, you know, follow it in the sky. But I need to have the dome follow the telescope first so that the dome never has to be moved during that process. It'll move itself. It'll always point to where the telescope is pointing, so that it always has the opening facing that. That was cool. Nice satellite there. Okay, let's go and look at more now. So we're exploring Leo. We explored Leo to begin with. We certainly didn't go through everything in Leo. And now we're checking out Virgo. And this, I wanted to show you Markarian's chain if we can. Have you seen Markarian's chain, Daryl? He's on mute again.
I'm sorry. No, Mark, I have not seen Markarian's chain by eye. I have seen some of the brighter members of the Virgo cluster.
Okay.
I've seen images of the Markarian's chain, of course.
Okay. Well, let's go check it out. I think we should be able to view Markarian's chain. I know we can. I've done it before. I have to make sure that the zombie nomad, I want a star. Okay, we'll get you one for Christmas. And his entire city and and surrounding areas, depending on the size of the star, is obliterated. So, okay, I'm not sure if... All right, let me just go back and just make sure we moved, because I couldn't tell. Let me go here and just do this now and see if that makes a difference. Okay, it's moving, so I know that it had already moved. Okay, now I'm going to go here. This is an interesting set of galaxies. Amid this darkness here, amid this plain blackness, there's a bunch of galaxies hiding here that are millions of light years away, and they're a chain of galaxies together that are really interesting. Tron Man, you're asking me about optical lens? I'm sorry, gravitational lensing? If so, I can certainly talk to you about that. Okay, so they're there, and we got a little trail there, so I'm going to have to go back and do it again, but I'm also going to move it over. Yeah, I can talk...
Did you see Tron wanting you to explain lensing effect?
Yeah, I just asked him if it was gravitational lenses we're talking about, and I believe it is.
Okay.
All right, so this is here. Okay.
Tron, look up Einstein cross if you want to see gravitational lensing.
Well, he wants an explanation, so...
Yes.
The bottom line is that Einstein predicted, actually, that light could be bent by gravity. Yet light photons don't really have mass per se, and mass is affected by gravity. So how can that possibly be? Well, it's actually an effect that's real, and what happens is that as you have, let's say you have a distant galaxy, and in this galaxy here, we actually say have a star, a big star that happens to be a massive star that's between us and the galaxy along the same line of sight. Or let's say that there's a very, very distant galaxy and a more massive galaxy in front of it. What will happen sometimes is that the gravity of that closer galaxy or that closer star will warp the more distant star or more distant galaxy's light. And you'll end up having this weird stretched out look to this other galaxy. In fact, it could be curved and look like it's going around the other galaxy. And that is the process of gravitational lensing. Now, if we use that for other detections, we can actually use gravitational lensing to find planets around other stars using a technique called gravitational microlensing. It's the same type of thing, but if you have a planet that's passing, orbiting its star, but as it does so, it passes a more distant star. All right, then the light of that more distant star will get lensed by the gravity of the planet. And it may not be a lens of the same value and magnitude as a galactic version, where you have galactic mass that's lensing a more distant galaxy. But it might be a lot less, and that lot less would be what we call the gravitational microlens. And that's what we'll see, and it's all due to the mass of either the planet and distant stars, or a massive galaxy and a more distant galaxy. So lenses were predictable, but they were never really observed until we had the technology to look at lenses. I can't show you any lensed galaxies from here. As far as I know, actually, I gotta look and see if there are any gravitational lenses out there that I can see. But
May I ask a question?
yeah,
Talking about this, wasn't one of the first proofs of relativity when Mercury was observed during a solar eclipse or something of the sort? Mercury appeared to be off where it was supposed to be because of the sun's gravity bending the light. Does this ring any bells with you?
well, yeah. I mean that's
Would that be considered gravitational lensing?
I guess in a broad sense of the word. Before the term was invented,
Right.
it is a warpage due to gravity. So that is what a
Yeah.
gravitational lens is. So technically, that is correct. But
You know,
Good
this
question,
happened a
Daryl.
long time ago.
yeah,
I'm sorry, Amanda.
I say good question.
yeah, I do believe that when we talk about gravitational lenses, whether micro lenses or larger lensing effects due to galaxies, the bottom line is it's still a mass affecting the light coming from a more distant object. And so, how do you say no? That's not a gravitational lens, but this is. It's still gravity affecting or mass affecting, being affected by gravity. So I guess I'd have to say that you're right that it is that.
Well, I had never thought of that until you were talking about it.
No, that's a very good observation. This is my Markarian's chain here of galaxies. Okay, there's all these little galaxies here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's got to be more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe I'm just not seeing it. Okay, but we're seeing most of them actually. So Markarian's chain is there. That's pretty cool. Now, if we, and again, I've got to bring us back. That's where we were. I actually want to see M90. So it's actually kind of fortuitous that we fell on this. So we're going to go there and check it out. And now you'll see a galaxy that's a little bit more, well, a little more pretty because you actually have a lot of detail to see here if it'll show up right. I think it will. Okay, so we're here, and let's actually do 20 seconds at 16,000 as before, and see what we get. Really fun.
Mark, can you detect the jet coming out of M87? I thought that was able to be done by amateur range telescopes.
Yeah, and what Daryl's talking about is there is a what appears to be a jet of material coming out of M87, and we can try it. We can certainly try it.
Well, carry on, please. Maybe later it'd be cool to look at.
Yeah, I want to try that actually. Let me just bring us over a little more to the east. Okay. And we're there. Settle down, please, and go. All right. Yeah, see, here I am. Remember I said, oh, we're only going to go maybe 2 hours at the most. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. See, so...
Only 11 here.
Okay. Well, it's 2
We
o'clock.
can stay up all night, Amanda.
Hey, and do a Messier Marathon.
If Daryl had a
Beautiful.
camera, don't you think I'd be persuading him?
Oh, you'd be twisting my arm.
Yeah, because Daryl is going to be tired when this is all done. Look at that. That's beautiful. M90, huh?
Mm.
It is beautiful. nuclei of these galaxies, this has got a tiny bit of travel to it. You can see it's a little bit elongated. It's supposed to be more spherical, but the tracking had not settled down fully. But that's okay. All right, now let me just go back and just... I'll say one thing. It's really interesting and amazing to explore these galaxies out here. And Virgo is basically, perfect for us right now. It's overhead. It's close to being overhead. Did you ever see the Siamese Twins?
Not me.
The what?
Siamese Twins.
No.
These galaxies. Let's go check them out.
This is
More twins
Stellarium,
than the
right?
Gemini?
That was Stellarium.
Yes. They sure have some fanciful names.
Well, they are known colloquially as the Siamese Twins as well.
Okay. Yeah, I learned another thing tonight.
Yeah.
Gotta love when that happens.
Yeah, well, Daryl knows an awful lot, so, it's not easy to teach him something new.
I have a lot to learn.
Well,
I've forgotten more than I ever knew.
as we all have and all do, yes.
As Homer Simpson said, my brain is full.
Marge, my brain's full.
Well done.
All right, so let's see what the Siamese Twins look like. They're going to be small, but why not? Let's just check them out. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Now, you see, that's the kind of thing we like here. Look at that. You can see them right there. They're called the Siamese Twins because they're so close to each other. Check it out. You would never have seen this unless we did it here. And, of course, we have, above the Siamese Twins, we have another galaxy there that has a beautiful dark lane in it. You see that? But here, these two galaxies are beautiful. These...
I wonder if they're interacting.
I'm going to just go check that out. Let's go actually look at our Stellarium view and see if they're active galaxies anyway. The Siamese Twins are active galaxies. They're also called the Fish and Chips galaxies. You like that? Fish and Chips galaxies.
Wow.
Where's the tartar sauce galaxy?
Oh, I know, huh?
That's another Homer Simpson, his suggestion, he put in the suggestion box was more tartar sauce on Fish Stick Friday.
Oh, man. I don't remember that. But I do know that the Siamese Twin galaxies are 105 million light years away. So they're very, very far away. But look at them. They're beautiful. And, when you look at these, you actually can see some details in them. This galaxy up here, let's go see what that was. I forgot to look at that. Oh, okay, that's NGC 4564. See that? Beautiful. Siamese Twins are beautiful. There's a beautiful pair of galaxies. I remember looking at them once before. And let's see now. This is... NGC 4528. I'm poking around, guys, so I'm just having some fun here. And the Virgo. This is the Virgo cluster. This is a part of the Virgo cluster. Oh, where's that? M87.
Might be it right there.
I got it.
There you go.
Yep. So let's check it out. Let's go see if we can see the jet that's coming out of M87. M87 is going to look like a fuzzy star. All right, but it might hold something else for us. Okay, and
M87 is possible, if I remember correctly, is the biggest, heaviest, densest galaxy in the whole cluster, isn't it?
yeah, and it might have been one of these galaxies that actually had absorbed other galaxies.
Right, it's an elliptical.
Yeah, a massive elliptical galaxy.
Yeah. And it's shooting a jet of, I forget what, high energy, something or other right out of it. And sometimes you can see it
Yeah, and I think we want to look
or
for
image it.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Right now, the telescope's pointing pretty much up. Hang on, I'm looking at... Am I actually looking at clouds? All right, let me check. Let's go into 4K mode for a moment. All right, and let's increase the ISO.
Showing a little red up in the corner. Is that your dome?
That's actually... No, that's actually the amplifier. Look at M87, though. I mean, in the 4K mode, you can actually see M87. So I think we're okay right now. I'm going to actually come back down here and then get out of the 4K mode. We're going to go to 16,000 and we're going to stop the video. All right, and this will drop us back. There we are. Okay. All right, let's image this and see what we get. Make sure the telescope is stopped. It's all set. Yep. So there we are. So I want to see if we can see that jet in M87. I'm excited. Wow.
Well, you have to think, for as big as M87 is and to be shooting a huge jet like that out of it, there has to be something very energetic going on in the center of that galaxy.
Yeah, and I have to...
I mean, you got to think a super black hole or something.
It has to be a supermassive black hole, yeah. Okay, that's not good enough. I'm going to want to... I'm going to want to do this a little differently here. I don't see it. So we're going to go back. And because I actually had... It wasn't perfect, so we're going to do it again. Problem with the telescope is you have to let it settle down. You know, once it gets on a location, it might take it a few seconds for the backlash in the system to get basically regurgitated back in to the motion, and then once that happens, everything is fine. But we'll see.
Mark, when you set up your pier in your observatory, did you fill it with concrete or anything?
Yeah, actually, I dug a 4.5, 5 foot deep hole in the ground. I have a backhoe that I have for around the yard kind of work, and it's a small one, a Kubota. And then once I dug down, I put in a sonotube, which is a cardboard tube, and then I put in probably 10 or 20 bags of concrete, and then 10 or 20 bags of concrete led to basically putting then these what are called J-bolts at the top of the concrete pier, so that now there was bolts sticking out of the concrete that I could then bolt the telescope pier down to.
Yes.
And then that pier was, like I said, 150 pounds sticking up several feet actually. And there it was. It was beautiful. Well, then I put a telescope on the pier, and it is rock solid. Now in Arizona, I'm going to have a slab, and I'm going to bolt it to a slab. And that'll be a little bit different.
I assume a rectangular slab for a roll-off roof observatory.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think you said something earlier tonight about maybe when you get down there, you're thinking about a bigger telescope. What did you have in mind?
I was actually, I'm thinking at the very least, I might go to a 16 if I can. But that depends on a whole lot of things. And so we'll see. But first, I want to see if you notice this little guy right here. Check that out. That is a very interesting galaxy, because you can actually see spiral arms from that little thing, and of course there's one here. That's beautiful. This is M87. I don't actually see the jet. Do you?
No.
I think if we move it around.
Well, gosh, can you almost see that there now?
Right there.
At about 2 o'clock?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, super.
So we did see it. I just had to zoom in more because it was lost in the noise before. And you zoom in, and you can see this energetic jet coming out of M87 right here.
That's excellent. That's great.
That is beautiful. I've never actually seen the jet, but I thought we should be able to see it. And you know what I'm going to try and do? Actually, I'm going to go back and try something a little different. I'm on 16,000 here. I'm going to change that down to 10,000 and do 20 seconds, okay? So it'll be dimmer, but the jet will be probably a little clearer. You might be able to see it clearer.
Keeping my fingers crossed.
I know. It'll be really pretty. Yeah, waiting.
The power in that jet. Yeah.
Look at that. We see it.
Folks, that's just an unimaginable amount of energy coming out of that big giant galaxy.
Yes, it is.
Looks like it's even got a little color to it.
Yeah, when I hit, you can actually. I'm trying to get a good contrast here. Let's go see. Okay, very clearly, here it is.
Yeah.
This is that jet. The color is an artifact of the ISO and what I'm using here. It's that magical point where the noise is just a little bit crazy. Now I'm going to go in here, go to color correction, and I'm going to change, add a little bit. There we go. Just bring it up just a tad. Yeah. Yeah, it's very clear. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, good suggestion, Daryl. See, Daryl has some good suggestions.
Oh, sometimes maybe.
Oh, yeah, sometimes maybe. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Sure, it's okay. One thing I want to check out before we finish for the evening, I want to go back to here. All right, now where is... Okay, M87 is over here. And I want to go look at M58. And I also want to look at M59, but I'm not going to do it. Let's see. So there is M58 there. And we're going to take ourselves to there. And off we go into the wild blue yonder. Here we come. Okay. Yes. All right, let's bring this up. And we're ready. I'm just going to move it over a little, because I kind of know. And now let's let this settle out a bit. The first one may not be perfect. I'm going to go back up to... I'll do 12,800 at 20 seconds. Because actually, like I said, we're at M58. And what is M58? Well, M58 is a spiral galaxy. Okay, it is a fairly tightly wound spiral galaxy, actually. And it's a galaxy that is 62 million light years away. And it looks like this. Ta-da! Here it is. And let's go check it out. All right. And there we go. Beautiful galaxy. Mm-hmm. Amanda, you're still with us, aren't you?
I am.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I just received some very sad news.
You did?
I did. A friend passed away.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
Not really a close personal friend, but someone I thought very highly of, and I think I've mentioned her to you before, Mark. Richard Hoagland's lady friend, Dr. Robin Falco.
Yeah.
She lost her battle with cancer on the 3rd, and I just found out, so.
Oh, wow.
Very sorry to hear that. Yeah. No, she was always so kind to me. Such a nice person. She had a show, Freedom Fighters, on Freedom's Lips, and she tried to help a lot of people, and I was doing selfless things.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna suck without her, and I feel really bad for Hoagland as well. So now he has no one. It's sad. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the show down, but it's sad.
It is what it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, you know, I mean, these
And
things...
we were just talking about that in chat not too long ago, all the celebrity deaths yet again, and
yeah.
I know I posted one before I went to bed, and then I found another one this morning or this evening when I woke up, and now hearing about this, it just, oh my god. Oh wow, thank you, Ted. Holy cow, your
Ted, that's
generosity
amazing.
is overwhelming.
Thank you, brother. Wow. That's amazing. It feels good,
We have wonderful friends here too.
I know, it feels good to know that people like what we do, you know. I'm glad you like it, you know. It's our world, you know.
It is. I always say how much I love this community. Everyone's so helpful and just, I don't know.
They are.
It's just nice. People get to catch up when we have shows like this and seeing old friends and catching up on how everyone is and settle in for a show. And it just, I love this community. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. I'm flabbergasted at how much people want to learn about these things. Never thought that people were going to be interested in the real science, because I've been seeing so many people that just dismiss it out of hand, you know, because they're, you know, flat earthers or the like, you know. But I'm pleased, very pleased to see that our community, our special community, Emil, oh man, thank you.
Amol, wow, holy cow, thank you.
Amal, thank you very much. That's amazing.
And it shows with things like this, it is needed, and it is a refreshing change, and it's, and that you're so accessible. It's not just like a pre-record, here are the stars, here's whatever, here's what I want to say. You know, if you have questions, we get them answered for you, and if we don't know, we can find out, and you know, if there's something you want to see, if it's possible, we try to bring you there. So it's very interactive, and things like this are really needed, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
so thank you all very much.
I'm beside myself with your kindness, guys. You guys are incredible. And by doing all the things you do anyway in the chat and talking and hanging out with us, you already impressed me, all of you guys. And the fact that, you know, we still do this, and then on top of it, if you decide that you want to, you know, donate to us and go give us a super chat, holy cow, Never expected, always welcomed, and humbles me tremendously. Thank you guys very, very much. This is a really interesting galaxy right here. This is it's sort of an edge on, really gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah, and let me throw in some processing here, actually. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow, that's crazy. We got 2 here, obviously. Which 2 you might add? Well, let's go see. If we go into our program here, we'll see that we have the Paper Kite Galaxy and NGC 4754. Okay. And the Paper Kite Galaxy is 54 million light years away, and it's just stunning. Okay. Really, really stunning. And then we have this one here, which is northeast of it. I should say, actually, it's northeast if we consider north, south, east, and west. But that's not how this really is. Okay, this is actually west of it. It's sort of southwest of it. It's crazy. Oh, and Tana wants to know if we can see a pulsar. Well, kind of, sort of. If we had the Crab Nebula out, we could actually image the Crab Nebula and maybe see that central star within the Crab Nebula, what's left over, and that is a pulsar that's flashing multiple times per second. Now that's a star about the size of Manhattan Island that's spinning on its axis very, very fast, several times per second. Imagine something that big in diameter spinning that fast. That's incredible.
It's like 30 times a second, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and it's not even the fastest pulsar in existence. The fastest pulsar is moving literally over 719 times per second. Think about that. That's incredible. 719 times per second. That's a wicked fast travel, Jim. Okay, that's really, really fast. So I think that when we talk about pulsars, we have to keep in mind that they're always the remnant that's left over from a supernova, a massive supernova from a massive star. And where does the term pulsar come from? Well, it comes from the fact that the star looks like it's pulsing in light beams, and that light change, that amplitude change, up and down, up and down, up and down, okay, many times per second in most cases. That's from the fact that we have a star remnant in the center that when the supernova exploded, the spots on the star, some spots on the star, because it wasn't a perfectly homogeneous explosion, some of the spots on the star had different types of radiation that started coming out of them. It wasn't even all the way around. And when that happened, we ended up finding that the stars have these hot spots on them, and like lighthouses, as they spin around at this high speed, if that beacon is in our direction, then we'll see it, and it'll flash like psh, 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 multiple times, like I said, per second. The Crab Nebula is like psh, and you've already seen like 30 or 40 of them, and then this other one, it would just sound like a psst, and it would actually be 700 and some odd times per second. A full-blown star spinning that fast. I mean, that's crazy. I can't even imagine that. But we don't have to imagine it. It's happening. So these are those beautiful galaxies here. And let me go and see if there's something else that we can look at before I call it. I'm getting a little tired. But I would like to come down here and I want to show you guys one more thing. I'm going to show you. I want to show you this guy if I can. I think this is an elliptical. Yeah, this is an elliptical. It's almost a almost spherical, almost round. But let's just take a look at this one, and then we'll make this one one of the next to the last ones tonight. Unless Daryl, I'd like to give you the opportunity to tell us the next one you'd like us to go to.
After this one?
After this one.
When you were on M58 earlier, I believe it was, there was a very interesting looking, very bright one to the lower right of M58. Maybe that. I'm happy with whatever you want to look at, Mark.
Okay. So you're saying near M58?
Yeah, when you had your search box on M58, or whatever, your display there, there looked like 2 or 3 galaxies very close and bright together down to the lower left of M58.
Okay.
Just thought.
All right.
Your telescope.
Well, you're part of the stream now. So, no problem there.
Okay. Something I've wanted for a long time. They used to say that the Milky Way, all our galaxies in the local group are falling toward the Virgo supercluster. And they used to talk about a thing called the Great Attractor, which you never seem to hear about anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
It was somewhere south or southeast of Virgo, if I remember correctly. Kind of a mystery object back in the day. And, well, they said that the Virgo supercluster was falling into the Great Attractor, or falling toward the Great Attractor. And I guess it'd be pulling us along with it. Excuse me. I just haven't heard much about the Great Attractor in a long time. Wonder if it's still a legit thing.
I actually don't know what now might be. Well, I'm not sure. You were saying M59?
M58. You were on M58 earlier tonight.
I do remember
earlier a while ago.
Okay, so I'm trying to. There it is. There's M58.
Okay, it's that one over to the left, lower left quadrant, outside the box.
Here?
Yes, that right there.
Okay, then we're looking at a very interesting galaxy. This is M60 that we're seeing here. All right, so why don't we check that out then?
Sure.
We'll see how it looks. It is kind of interesting looking.
Oh, that just jumped out at me earlier.
No, fair enough. I like it. Very good.
Didn't know what it was.
Very good.
Let's hope it turns out.
Yeah, well, it'll be okay. It's actually well placed in the dome. So we're good there. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I can't see how many are watching right now, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
28.
28, yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you guys for coming out. Look at this. It's already 1:30. Can you believe this? Oh, man. Okay. This has to be the last object, guys. I do have to get up early tomorrow.
It's good practice for an all-nighter, huh?
Daryl?
Love it.
Silencio. Yeah. No, you're right.
See, this is what I mean.
I'm kidding, when I say... when I say I won't do it, I'm kidding. You realize that.
If you didn't really think about it...
Yeah.
And we just happened to start as the sunset... I don't know.
Oh, there
I
it
don't
is.
think it would be as overwhelming as you claim it to be.
Oh, probably not. I'm going to do this again because we had a little backlash travel there. All right. Okay, look at that. What do you mean?
It's a good galaxy. It's not a great galaxy.
How about now?
That's better.
Look at that. Look at
I
that.
wonder if they're interacting.
Well, they are at a similar distance. But check out, you can see these spiral arms here. You can see spiral arms here too. See?
Yep.
Yep. And this is actually, let's go back real quick. This is actually at 12,800 for 20 seconds. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I think it looks pretty good. Wow. But I tell you guys, I have had a wonderful time taking you through the Leo constellation and Virgo. There's more galaxies here than we can visit in any time that we have. So there's always more for us in the springtime, even though the sky is boring. It was always the most boring sky for me because I never had a telescope that could look at the galaxies. And now I do. And I just want to thank you guys for coming along for this ride. Amanda, thank you for joining us. Daryl, of course, thank you. Of course, thank you, Daryl.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you make it all worthwhile, the audience who watches and listens. And that's why I like to respond to you, and I like to read your chat comments and respond to you. Continue to do so as well. So, whereas I see you thanking me and Amanda and Daryl, I want to thank you for coming along and making my night really special, in particular. So, I will talk to you again, and Daryl and I and Amanda bid you adieu for the evening. And as I always say on SkyTour Radio, keep looking up, folks.
Except while you're driving.
And then I love when she adds that.
You started it, and then you dropped it, and I thought, I'll keep going.
I know, but it's great. Thank you guys for coming, and we will talk to you again. Good night.